Alrighty, a lot of talk about the Olympics lately, so I decided I was going to do a Rangers video about the Rangers in Beijing and what Rangers players we should expect to see at the Olympics. New setup, I moved my desk back to where it was 4 years ago when we first moved down to North Carolina, so you're seeing a somewhat familiar setup. I mean, kind of in the background, not really sure how long it's been. I mean, I believe all that stuff was up there 4 years ago when I first moved down here, first started recording down here. I could be totally wrong, but yeah, I totally switched around. No more Step Brothers poster in the background with the Rocky poster. Now you got, what do you got over here? You got my Sam Rosen Happy 6th birthday autograph, my John Davidson one, Rangers, that's personal trainer stuff, Nick Holden autograph, Canyon flag, Esposito jersey, Nash, Yager, Mets Clubhouse, love it. So this is the side of my room you guys haven't seen in 4 years. So here we go. We are back to normal. Also, I got new glasses. Look, they got the blue light in them now, so I don't really get like eyesore when I'm making videos and looking at. I'm gonna turn my AC on because I'm sweating bullets in here. All right. Anyways, let's get to the task at hand. Minimize, and then I could Alt Tab and just. Oop. I'm learning. You guys get to see all my schoolwork and my work site. Great. Anyways. Rangers in Beijing. So, I'm not going to lie to you. This was a tough list to make because the Olympics, I think, are going to be a little bit weird this year in who play. Let me just get right into it. All right, let's just get right into it. So, starting with Finland, right? So, I'm just giving two Finnish players that I think have a chance, all right? So, I'm not going over every player in the Rangers organization by their nationality saying, okay, you know, like, listen, if I could have gone for Canada, I could have wrote, what is the likelihood of Dylan Garand being the starting goalie for Team Canada? Obviously, be a 0 out of 10, right? So I'm not going throughout the entire organization. I'm just going through players that I think remotely have a chance on a 1 to 10 scale. Go like this, right? So let's go player name, their position rank. Their position rank is by points only. So this is, the position rank is not my personal opinion. It's how they ranked in terms of scoring. The only one that's not is Kaapo Kakko, the first one, because points, right wing Finnish skaters throughout the entire NHL. Kakko was 6th. The people ahead of him were Lauri Pajuniemi and Eeli Tolvanen, both of which I think Kaapo Kakko is better than overall as a player, which is why I ranked him 4 out of 7 instead of 6 out of 7. Okay, let's just get right into this, right? So Kaapo Kakko, position rank 4 out of 7, likelihood of making Team Finland for the Olympics, I gave him an 8 out of 10. I don't think he's a guarantee to make the team. I definitely think he could get bumped out. I mean, if someone in Finland wants to play on the off wing, you got guys like Jacob Vrana that could switch over. Not Vrana. Who was the other Finnish guy? And there was a bunch of Finnish left wingers that I thought were a little bit better than Kaapo Kakko, and a couple Finnish centers that were pretty damn good too that could play the right wing, like Mikael Granlund, that could edge him out. I think it's likely Kakko plays. I mean, especially how he played in the World Championships when he was 18 years old. He basically carried Finland, so I think it's pretty likely. It's more likely than not that he makes the team. Lauri Pajuniemi, on the other hand, I give him a 2 out of 10. Now, the reason he got a 2 out of 10 and not a 1 out of 10 is because, listen, you never know what happens with injuries. If there's only 7 right wingers in all of the NHL from Finland last season, that, you know, Pajuniemi has a chance. I mean, God forbid, a few injuries, or maybe he plays really well in the AHL. Hell, maybe he makes the NHL team. I don't think that's very likely, but he lit it up in the league of the past few years. I just don't think it's impossible. I think it's more likely he does not make the team than does, but I think, you know, circumstances, if they arise, there's somewhat of a chance. Again, very unlikely. Moving on to the Czech Republic. Filip Chytil and Libor Hajek are the only Czech players in the Rangers organization that I think even remotely have a chance. Chytil, position rank, this is as center. Or did I do it? I think I did forwards as a whole for Czech players. Yeah, it was just for Chytil, it wasn't by position. It was by Czech forwards as a whole, because there's not very many Czech players in the NHL, I learned. I was only 20, well, I guess I have to look at it right here, 29 last year, not including goaltenders, which I don't think there were any of. Maybe one. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but ranked 10 out of 23, likelihood 8 out of 10. Honestly, I could have given Chytil a 9 out of 10. I think it's pretty damn likely he makes his team. The only thing that I think would stop Chytil from making the team is if there's players over the seas that the Czech committee, when they pick their players, for some reason favors them over Chytil. I think it's I would be amazed if Hito does not make the Czech team, and I think if he does make the Czech team, he'll be in their top 6, not their bottom 6, as his position rank shows here. Libor Hayek, one of 6 Czech defensemen to play in the NHL last year, had the least amount of points out of all of them, despite playing in, I think, the 3rd most games. Likelihood 5 out of 10. The reason I give him a 5 out of 10 is because Hayek most likely will be in the AHL next year unless he gets traded. And there's probably better Czech defensemen playing overseas somewhere that'll get the nod over Hayek. Whether they bring him out as a 7th-rate defenseman is beyond me. I just think it's kind of 50-50 at this point. Unless Hayek really breaks out and kind of goes off, I think the committee's out that he's really probably not going to be an NHL defenseman in his career. He's definitely became a bit of a whipping boy for Rangers fans. I personally don't hate Libor Hayek. I also don't think he's that great either. I think he's a good 5th or 6th guy. I don't think he's anything more than that, nor will he ever be. But, yeah, I mean, neither exciting nor not exciting, just probably 50-50 he makes a team. Sweden. Surprised that Rangers only had 2 people on this list. I don't know why. For some reason in my head, I was delusional that we had more Swedish players. I don't know why, but either way, here we are. So Zibanejad, 10 out of 10 positional rank in terms of scoring, 2 out of 27 Swedish centers that played in the NHL last season. I forget who he ranked behind. It's 11 o'clock at night. I don't know why I'm making this video so late, but I am. Who did he rank behind scoring-wise? Nicholas Backstrom is the only Swedish center he ranked behind in scoring. And Swedish forwards, I don't believe he was too far off that either. I think he was probably top 5. But either way, Mika Zibanejad, 2 out of 27, 10 out of 10. I mean, how does he not make the team? He's arguably the best Swedish center in the world right now. You can make a case for Nicholas Backstrom, but I think if you're looking at a player overall and capabilities and you're playing a 200-foot game, defensively, offensively, neutral zone, passing, shooting, everything taken into account, I think Zibanejad is the best Swedish center in the world. So yes, I guarantee he makes the team. Now, Nils Lundqvist I put on here. Most likely will not be on the team. I gave him a 1 out of 10. There's way too many good Swedish defensemen in the league. You got, first of all, let's start at the top. You have Dahlin, Ekman Larsson, Hedman, Jarmelson retired, so he doesn't really count. Hampus Lindholm, Ekholm. There's just way too many Swedish defensemen that are playing in the NHL currently that are just light years ahead of Nils Lundqvist in terms of NHL mileage and experience that would 100% get the nod over Nils Lundqvist. And you could even make the case for some defensemen still in Sweden that might get the nod over Lundqvist just because they're a little bit older, they get the favor. Now, unless Nils Lundqvist enters the NHL and just pops the F off, stomps into the NHL, is going crazy, and really makes a case for himself, which I really don't think he will light it up right away. I don't really... On Olympic ice, I don't see it happening. World Championships, way more likely. Olympics, I don't think so. 1 out of 10. It would take some serious circumstances. I'm talking a few players would need to be in, a few players, again, God forbid, knock on wood they don't, a few players would have to get injured, and he would need to be absolutely popping off from the start of the season to the Olympic break. And I don't really see it happening. But he's going to be on the Rangers roster next year, so I wanted to give him here, at least give him a shot. But 1 out of 10, I really don't see it happening. There's just too many defensemen. Now for Russia. Only 3 Rangers are on this list. Unfortunately, Pavel Buchnevich is with the St. Louis Blues organization, so yeah, I would have probably given Buch a 10 out of 10. So Igor Shesterkin, now the position rank is based off of save percentage, not goals against average or wins, and he ranked 4 out of 11. Now, I gave Shesterkin a 7 out of 10 because I think there's just way too many Russian goalies that are going to be they're going to be teetering with him, right? So, not that Bobrovsky's played well, but it's the name, Bobrovsky. Vasilevsky, he's got to fight with Samsonov, he's got to fight with Sorokin. Georgiev, I don't really think is much of a bother. And Shesterkin, so I mean, really 5 goalies I just named right off the top. And Varlamov, 6. 6 goalies right off the top of my head that he's a 1,000% going to be battling with that starting goalie spot. It's going to be tough. I give him a 7 out of 10 because I would be surprised if he didn't make it, but it's not necessarily a guarantee. I personally have more faith in Kaapo Kakko breaking the Finnish roster as a forward than I have Igor Shesterkin being on the roster for Team Russia in the Olympics. If I'm Russia, not if I'm Russia. If I was a betting man, I would guess that Russia's going to take Varlamov, Vasilevsky, and Bobrovsky as their 3 goalies. If I was a betting man, that's what I would put my money on. Artemi Panarin, position rank, 1 out of 10. I think he was the highest scoring Russian in all of the league last year. And like, I mean, it's just that simple. I mean, Panarin is going to be, God forbid he gets hurt. That would be the only thing stopping him from getting on that roster or on some other crazy circumstances. Artemi Panarin will be on Team Russia. Now, Vitaly Kravtsov ranked 10 out of 10 on Russian right wingers last year in terms of scoring. Granted, he only played like 8 games, but still, 10 out of 10. Likelihood of playing, 2 out of 10. Again, it would take some serious circumstances, a lot of injuries to a lot of players, and some KHL players not playing well. Honestly, I probably could have given Kravtsov a 1 out of 10, but the only reason I gave him a 2 out of 10 is because if he really pops off and goes crazy at the start of the year, plays well, is scoring a lot, is playing a good 200-foot game, which he did with the Rangers, he did in Hartford, and he did in Russia, there's a chance. But I don't think it's very likely that he makes a team. Again, it would take some serious circumstances for him to do so. There's too many good Russian players in the NHL at the left, right, and center position, and there's too many good Russian players playing in the KHL that the Russian Olympic Committee is gonna favor over anyone that jumped ship and went to the United States. For a fact they're gonna go ahead and fucking polish them and ride them like they would anyone else. So that's just my 2 cents. Like, don't be surprised if Nikita Gusev somehow gets a spot on Team Russia, despite him sucking in North America. Just saying. Team Canada. Rangers don't really have very many Canadians on their team. Ryan Strome and Alexis Lafreniere are the only ones that really, in my opinion, have any stretch of a shot, and it is pretty damn low. Ryan Strome, the only reason he's on this list, because I did a little bit of research here. I know he played on a line with Artemi Panarin. I know that. But, believe it or not, out of 145 Canadian centers to play in the NHL last year, in terms of points, Ryan Strome was 7th out of those 145 players. The likelihood of Ryan Strome making Team Canada is a 1 out of 10, and it might even be lower than that because a lot of players below him are 10 times better than he is, but he just scored more than him. The only reason he's on there is because of that number right there. I thought it was cool, and I wanted to share it. Other than that, there's no way Ryan Strome makes his team. I mean, there would have to be so many ridiculous circumstances to happen to get him on the team. It's honestly bizarre. I mean, unless he was literally in bed with the Canadian Olympic Committee, there is no shot in hell he makes his team. They have to not only have to be in bed with that committee. There would be so many people that would need to get hurt or just not want to play. It would be bizarre. So I don't really think there's any chance whatsoever. I think it's actually below a 1 out of 10 that he makes a team. I think Lafreniere has a higher chance of making the team than Strome. So, maybe give Strome a 0.5 and Lafreniere a 1.1. And the only reason Lafreniere is on this list is because he's Alexis Lafreniere. He lit it up in World Juniors for them 3 times, at the 18U and 20U twice. So, the reason Lafreniere is on this list is, again, the same circumstances I gave for Lundqvist. And who's the other idiot? Kravtsov. The only way he makes that team, he needs to absolutely, from the start of the season to the Olympic break, he needs to fucking go crazy. And even if he does, I don't think he makes the team. He could have 80 points at the Olympic break, and I still think he probably will get jumped by other players. It's the same thing when Team Canada they went over on Spit and Chicklets. The 2006 Olympics, was it? It had to have been the 2006 Olympics when Crosby first broke into the league and was one of the highest scoring forwards in the league, one of the best players in the NHL, on pace for over 100 points as an 18-year-old, got passed on by the Canadian Olympic team, despite him arguably being a top 5 Canadian player in the world at that time, and he got passed. I don't know what it is. They have their hard-ons for their older players, and I guess I could understand that, but if they did not give the benefit of the doubt to Crosby, there's no way in hell they're giving it to Lafreniere. It would take some serious circumstances to get him in the Olympics. I just don't think it's this year. When we have this conversation 4 years down the line, yeah, I think Lafreniere will be a Canadian Olympian. As of today, probably not. I don't see it happen. It would have to be some seriously extreme circumstances. He would need to be absolutely popping off, going crazy, scoring goals, doing literally everything. And someone would need to bow out of the Olympics or get hurt for him to make it. Other than that, I don't think there's a chance that Lafreniere makes the team. Now, Team USA, there's going to be 2 slots for this one. This is where we're finishing up. Adam Fox, position rank in terms of points, 1 out of 94. Likelihood of making the team, 10 out of 10. I definitely think him and Quinn Hughes are the 1 and 2 picks right now to be on Team USA, no matter what, with Werenski and Seth Jones directly behind them. After that, Chris Kreider, 13 out of 47 United States-born left wingers. Likelihood 5 out of 10. I just think there's a lot more better players than the last time Chris Kreider was on a USA Olympic team. You got guys like Anders Lee, Parise, Patty Kane. There's just way too many good USA forwards right now to even guarantee Chris Kreider a spot. I'd be surprised if Phil Kessel at this point is guaranteed a spot on Team USA. There's just too many good players that are United States born that are going to get a much closer look than Chris Kreider's going to. And the only thing really keeping Chris Kreider on this list is the fact that he's played for USA Olympic teams and World Junior teams before. Other than that, don't really see it happening. Jacob Trouba, 35 out of 94 defensemen in terms of points. Likelihood 6.5 out of 10. The only reason he's 6.5 out of 10 is because he played for Team USA teams before. And he's regarded as one of the better USA defenders, but I would be surprised if he made the team. The only thing that would get him on this team is if the USA wanted a physical edge. Right now, if I'm Team USA, I got Fox, Hughes, Werenski, Jones. What are some other USA defensemen off the top of my head? Seth Jones, not Zach Jones, by the way. I want to go ahead and clarify that. Charlie McAvoy is way the F up there. Maybe not Cam Fowler over Trouba. Fowler is good, but he's not. I think Trouba's a little bit better than Cam Fowler. Irregardless, I think there's better choices than Trouba. But if they want a physical edge, they want a little bit more leadership per se, I can see them going with Trouba. I give it 6.5 out of 10. I honestly probably should have and could have given him a 7.5, but USA born defenseman, there were 94 of them in the NHL last year, and he was 35th out of 94. Actually, I'll tell you what, let's go back to it right now. Let's see. Shit. Come on, you fucker. Player. Let's, because now I'm actually genuinely curious. So we got to sort by defensemen that were born in the USA. Yeah, John Carlson's making the team. Chikrin, Pion Crew. I forgot Crew was American. Yeah, there's just way too many. Brett Pesci. Yeah, there's just too many. I would be pretty damn surprised if fucking Trouba made the team. I would be amazed. Yeah, McDonough's still on there. I mean, Suter always has a chance. There's just too many good United States defensemen to guarantee him a spot. You can guarantee Fox because he was the best defenseman in the world last year. He won the friggin' Norris, but Trouba, I actually stand by the 6.5 out of 10. I would be surprised if Trouba makes it. Probably will get invited to camp, but I don't know if he makes it. Now, two more long shots. Now, I was pretty surprised to see this. Ryan Lindgren was 23rd out of 94 United States-born defensemen in terms of point scoring last year. I was pretty damn amazed to see that. Keandre Miller was 37. Now, the only reason Lindgren's on this list, aside from that pretty cool stat, is if he rides Adam Fox's coattails. And like in World Juniors, if they want Lindgren paired with Adam Fox in the Olympics, same way he's paired with him with the Rangers, and like I said, World Juniors. I don't think it happens. I think it's incredibly unlikely. I give him a 3 out of 10 just because if the orchestrator, Stan Bowman, I don't think he'll be there when the team's being put together. But whoever's the GM at that time and they're putting together the team, the committee, whatever they're doing, if for some reason they want Lindgren and Fox back together the same way Crosby got Kunitz into the Olympics, again, I mean, there's a pretty big difference between Fox and Crosby, but still. The only way Lindgren's getting into that game is if Adam Fox, if they're like, listen, we need him with Adam Fox. Other than that, I really don't see it happening. Keandre Miller, I probably should have given him a 2 out of 10 instead of a 3 out of 10. I don't know why I gave him the same odds as Lindgren. I think Lindgren has a way better shot than Miller. The only reason I really have him on this list is because if like other players I said, like Kravtsov, like Lundqvist, if he goes friggin' crazy at the start of this year and he's putting up points, he's laying the body, he's flying up and down the ice, he's doing all the good things, I think there's a chance. Because Team USA's defensive core, I mean, we just looked at it. Aside from Brett Pesci and arguably John Carlson, I think he's only 6'2". The USA's defense is not going to be very big. The good thing about Keandre Miller is not only is he 6'5", 220-something pounds, he could fucking fly. Arguably the fastest skater on the New York Rangers. So if USA wants that size, speed, and skill combination, Keandre Miller's having a really good start to the season. He's scoring, playing 200 foot, doing all these things we just mentioned. They could give him a look. Again, barring circumstances. You know how these committees are very, 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 very fond of their veterans and people who have played before. So, obviously they're going to get a look before any of the young guys do. But to tell you the truth, I mean, if you're putting together a winning team, you want to play 5 games. Are you going to take Ryan Suter on a down year? Or are you going to take this up and come in 6'5", 225, flying Keandre Miller? It's like, it all depends. Again, these are circumstances we have to wait to unfold. I mean, we just have to wait and see. And who knows? You very well might be surprised. But other than that, that's really all I got for you guys today. That's the entire list. What do you guys think of my predictions? What do you think of anything I said? Am I missing anybody? Do you think I gave someone too much of a chance, or do you think I didn't give someone enough of a chance? Comment down all your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you guys. It is 11:20 at night. I got school in the morning. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. I'm not even gonna play Xbox tonight. Actually, to tell you the truth, I can't remember the last time I played Xbox. It's been a minute, but either way, I digress. Comment down all your thoughts. I love talking to you guys. Season starting soon. The Rangers play the Islanders in 12 days. First game of the preseason in 12 days. I'll see you guys next one. Comment down below. Peace.